didn't quite hit 100. Good morning. It's Monday morning. Welcome back to the farm here. We're gonna have a fairly busy week, but hopefully wrap up at least a couple of things here. Wheat harvest, I don't know that we'll get done today, but we'll get close. We've got to move to a field that's 10 miles that way later this morning, and there's about 65 acres there, so we'll get that done. And then we've just got another 30 and 10 to do after that. So that's a good thing. We'll see where we're at with our irrigation stuff. As of right now, I haven't been up to the field yet, but I think that we've had, with that rain we got on Friday, 9/10 there, I don't think we're going to start it up today. Maybe, I don't know. But we're going to do some other stuff here before we head up there. So you remember last Friday morning, before it started raining, I was getting ready to go and spray some manganese on some of our beans, a second shot. And we didn't do it because of the rain. We thought it was going to rain. It did. It was a good decision not to. Well, we're going to do it now. And we're still going to use the big sprayer, which means it'll go fast. So we're going to mix up a pretty big load because there's a lot of acres that are showing manganese deficiency right now, I think from the dry weather. And that should help, or be helped by the rain. But we're going to spray them anyway because it's cheap. Okay, so here's what we are spraying. It is manganese sulfate, and it's got some sulfur and 32% manganese in there. I put in 3 bags, which they are 55-pound bags, not 50-pound bags, so 165 pounds. We got a full tank of water. Basically, we've got enough to spray a little over 80 acres. Problem is, we're going to end up doing it in about 10 different fields, I think. So here's the field where we're going to start. This is not a field that we have sprayed before, or we sprayed the last time, but you can see this little bit of yellowing out here. And that's the manganese deficiency, a little more over here. And so we're just gonna spray it. This field, there's not very many acres on it, like 13, so we may just end up spraying the whole thing by the time we get what we need to. And then on the other side of the ditch over there, just along the ditch, there's a little bit, so we'll probably just make a pass along those ends. Did that front field. I made kind of a round on these front ends. That looked like the worst of it here, so we're gonna fold her up, head to the next field. I don't know if you guys can tell real well, but our beans have a lot darker green color than the ones in the neighbor's field next to it. I don't know if that's a planting date. Theirs were replanted after their corn didn't make it, so they were planted maybe a month later. And maybe they're just not fixing as much nitrogen yet, but I don't know. Our beans look pretty good. Here's the next field. It's all in this half and this kind of that low ground over here. So we're just gonna spray like half of this field. So this field here is kind of interesting. I sprayed this one before and you can see it's coming back. There's some yellowing here and stuff. But if you look over there, you see that line? That's where I ran out. I missed a pass right there that did not get sprayed. So clearly that first shot of manganese we sprayed helped. But the end rows here did get sprayed, so definitely time to do it again. But yeah, good to see that visual confirmation that what you're doing is working. Well, my tank's empty. We sprayed a little bit more than I was thinking. Well, actually, I kind of thought we would have a lot. But I'm working on the areas that we sprayed mostly the first time that are really bad, and I did not get very much of them done. So we're gonna go back to the farm. We might load up again today. We might wait until tomorrow morning. I don't know. We'll see. But we got to get these beans sprayed. So I don't need as much as I had mixed up this time. But we'll probably put another 2 bags in and however many gallons of water that equals. Okay, it's 10:45. It's time to go combine wheat. We're going to try and get it done today. So I'm going to worry about the rest of that manganese tomorrow morning. All right, combine's fueled up and we're heading off to the next field. It's about 10 miles away, so it's going to take us a minute to get there. Dad already left with the head, so we'll hook her up and start combine as soon as we get there. Back in the combine. Doing some end rows here. We got a couple of smaller fields. There's like 65 acres total, but 2 fields here, short rows. So we're not going to run the cart. We're just going to leave it sit on the end of the field there. I'm gonna run the combine, Phil's gonna run trucks, and shouldn't take us too terribly long down here. I would guess 4 hours-ish, maybe. Well, once we get out of here off the end rows and away from some of the wildlife damage, we got pretty good wheat. Of course, now it drops. It was running over 100. But yeah, our average, let's see, 2 rounds here is averaging 92. That's by far the best that we've seen. So we'll see how the fields turn out, but looks promising over here. See, told ya. We told you we had some good stuff. There is some fantastic wheat in this field. I'm shocked. This was the last field that we planted. I think it was the 10th of October last year. It was after we took beans out here. We do have clover growing down there. I don't know if you guys will be able to see it very good, but it is there, and it looks pretty good. Yeah, I'm really surprised. I don't know if we did anything different with the chemicals and spraying this or what, but dang, this is good wheat. Well, I have not figured out what is so much different about this field. It was planted later. It was the last planted, October 10th, which isn't super late. But some of those other fields that we planted into prevent plant ground were like the 20th, 22nd, somewhere in there of September. We're 10 miles from the farm, but I don't know. But this field, we're gonna break 100 here. I'm 12 acres in, and we're almost at 100 bushel average. Crazy. I have a grain cart full, quite full. So I'm gonna unload that into the truck real quick, and we'll park the cart a little closer to where we're combining. Plus, I kind of want to see how much is on there. This heavy test weight wheat. It's like a little over 1,100 bushels, 67,000 pounds. More than enough to fill a truck, let's put it that way. Fighting a little down corn here, or sorry, down wheat here. It's not a huge area, but I think we're right in the area where Dad overlapped with the nitrogen when he was spraying, because there wasn't a full pass there. And that's my guess. That was the strip there that was sort of bad. Basically, when you overlap the nitrogen, it gets double applied, and then the wheat grows so fast or tall, and the stem can't support it, and so yeah, that's where you typically have most of the problems with stuff going down on you. Which usually it's really good wheat, but doesn't help if it's not standing. Alright, well, we're done with this first field. 30 acres here. Didn't quite hit 100. 99.3. There was a spot up here where this clover's coming through. It was a little thin. There's a sand ridge there. I'll take a look at the yield map here. Yeah, you can see it up in this corner. And then a little bit out here that wasn't quite as good. So, but hey, nobody's complaining about 99 bushel wheat, right? That's awesome. We'll take it and be happy. We'll see what this backfield does. Hopefully it's similar. Okay, well, we're moving along here. Got about half of this field done. I haven't been in the combine a lot yet this summer, and so I haven't really explained to you the stuff and how it works and what we do too much. So I thought I'd try and go through a little bit of that. Wheat is a little different than soybeans as far as the header and combining and stuff. Obviously we use the same head for beans and for wheat, but in beans the goal is to shave the ground as close as possible to get all the pods that are low on the plants. With wheat, the grain is in the heads. It's at the very top of that plant, so we don't need to take the whole stalk and everything. And so generally we try and just cut it below all of the heads. Now they're kind of on varying levels. Some of them are up, some of them are down. There's some height variation and stuff there, so you got to cut some of the stalk and the stem off and pull it through the combine. But the less material you run through it, the faster you can drive and the better job that the combine does. So with beans, we run our head in what's considered a flex mode, where it actually contours and flexes across the head to follow the ground contour. With wheat, Because we're not running it on the ground, we don't do that. We lock it up in a rigid mode, which is just a pressure adjustment from a dial in the combine here. This number here, you run it up as high as it'll go, and that locks that head in a rigid so it doesn't flex and it doesn't follow the ground. But what that means is that the head does not follow the ground, so I have to adjust it manually. The button on the armrest here. So like here where this weed is down, I'll slow down and I'll manually set that head right down on the ground to try and shave it off and get it all into the header, which it does do a pretty good job of. So over here on our controls, this button here folds the auger in and out when we're ready to unload. This button, obviously up and down, moves the header up and down, but we can also tilt it side to side with these two. So if I press here, it'll lower that side of the head and raise this side up. Helps follow the contour of the ground a little bit. And then this button here is for the reel. So it moves the reel up and down and then in and out with the other ones. We've also got some quick set buttons here, I guess. I don't know. 1 raises the head, 2 puts it down into close to harvesting position, 3 would drop it down even farther, but you can customize where you want those set. And then this one engages the auto steer. This one over here turns the unloading auger on and off. Don't push it unless you're lined up over a grain cart or a semi. So these are what engage the head and the combine. And then we've got our throttle buttons here instead of a slide throttle or a lever like some of the tractors have. This is just a 3-position throttle with buttons. These are speed ranges for the transmission and a parking brake. And we've got our 4-wheel drive and diff lock buttons there. Road transport, and this button takes you to the screen to open the grain tank covers. This one is for reel speed, and this one adjusts the height of these buttons here. And then on our screen is where kind of the combine functions and everything. It tells me, you know, our threshing speed, how fast the rotor is spinning, the clearance on that, fan speed, chafer and sieve, and and then these are our discharge spinners, but we're windrowing, so we don't have any speed on them right now. So it also tells us what our moisture is and our yield as we're going through the field, along with a whole lot of settings over here that are customizable. This one is grain tank capacity or percentage, how full it is, head speed, and then we've got a lot of different setups and settings and things and all those through the menus there. So that's how it works from here. We've got another readout. It's got our fuel levels, coolant temp. This one here is engine load, how much of the engine horsepower we're using, speed, engine RPMs, some settings on the head, tells me the level of it and whether it's tilted or not. And then that's my loss monitor there. So this one here is Green Star monitor, kind of the yield, and makes the maps. And you can see this field, we've got some really good stuff over here and some really bad stuff in the back. So, but we're still averaging right around 90, which again, after what the rest of our stuff has been, we'll take it. I'm into the real long rows here now, as you can see. It's just finishing up. We've got a couple of these little short passes, and then we'll move on to the next field. The question is it all going to fit in the grain cart, and will it all fit in a truck? 86, it looks like, in the backfield. It kind of dropped off over here on this side. There was a lot of purple back in there, so I don't know if it's just higher ground or what the deal was, why those areas were not quite as good as this corner up here that was really good, and the front field. But if I would have done the backfield first, I'd have been thrilled with 86. So I'm not complaining. That's really good, at least for this year, where everything else has been in the 70s pretty much. Well, it all fit on the grain cart. I think it'll fit on a truck. It's not as full as we had it before, and I think it'll go. So Dad's down here. He's hooking up the header cart. We're going to drop the head and go to the next field. Always good when you got a field, you've got a spot, you got to combine it from both directions because of the low wires. You definitely cannot drive under that one. So we combine up to it as close as possible, back out, and we'll come in from the other side. It goes out to that pole. Anyway, we're opening up this field here. There's 28 acres in this field, and there's two little less than 2 acre pieces of it. And that is the end of our wheat for this year. So we got about 30 acres to do. Well, we went from one of our best wheat fields to maybe our worst, or close to it anyway. I don't know. It's not great. There's a thin spot back there from too much water on it. There's a lot of trees. This is a really weird shaped field. Although some of the wheat out there doesn't look too bad, so we'll see, but we may be lucky to get to 70 in this one. Phil just got here with the truck, and he's unloading the grain cart, which was pretty full. Should pretty well fill that truck. And I've got a grain tank full, so we gotta wait for him. All right, I am just finishing up that last little strip here in this field. The big field, not great. Didn't even make 65, 64 something, so this is a tough farm. I knew it wasn't going to be great, but I was still hoping for at least 70, so this is what it is. We're down to about 3 acres. So now we've got to jump out on the road here with our 40-foot head on, try and miss the road signs. And our header cart that is on the road, that's got to get moved before it gets dark. And jump into that little field right there. This is a different variety in this field. Interesting. Whatever it is. Anyway, literally, there's an 1.5 acres in this field. And it's a triangle shape, which makes it even more fun. 2 rounds. That one was fast. Oh, it was better. That one went 65.1, the whole 1.23 acres. Now we jump back out on the road, and we got another one right down there. The reason is that there's this ditch right there that kind of meanders, and it cuts on an angle, and it cuts this field all up. The weird thing is there's another ditch right by the road, just a little sliver in between them. It's weird. I don't understand it, but that's how it is. So we don't own this farm, we rent it. It's fine. It's fine, we'll deal with it. Okay, well, this is the last field of our wheat for 2020. We've got, there's more than 1 acre here, or more than the other one. 1.5, 1.6. So this one's got a little bit more. It'll take us 5 minutes. Okay, we got it. This field was worse than the other two, but there was a big drowned out spot, so. Okay, it did manage to get dark on me in those 5 minutes. Okay, maybe 10, whatever. All right, we're gonna drive back down to where the grain cart is, unload the combine into the cart, put it in the truck, take it home, and our wheat harvest is finished. All right. What a deal. Got her done. We do, however, have 10 acres to do yet. We have some custom work to do for a neighbor, actually, the guy that owns this farm. He's got a little 10 acre piece just down the road that he kind of hangs on to and farms it himself for something to do, it sounds like. Asked us to harvest it for him, so we're going to do that. However, I am not going to do it tonight. It is almost 9:30, getting dark, as I said. And it's a new farm. I've never been on it. I don't want to do it in the dark. So we're going to wait until tomorrow to do that. And then we'll get the combine home and get stuff kind of lightly cleaned up. We'll do it more thoroughly later. Yeah, in the barn at least. We'll even get a good sunset in. Right there. Cameras on my phone is pretty good at adjusting to light, but you gotta kind of get the right spot to make it look right. Anyway, that's it. So tomorrow morning, we've got to spray another load of manganese with the big sprayer. And then we also are going to go up to the irrigation field. Probably going to do that first thing. I have a feeling we're going to start it back up tomorrow. Looking at the forecast, it's hot and dry again. There was, this morning, there was about 5 days of at least a chance of rain from Wednesday through the weekend. They now have like 2 days, I think it was Sunday and Monday, or maybe Saturday and Sunday, and it's like a 30% chance both days. They're really backing off on it. Temperatures are going to be in the upper 80s, so it's going to get dry on us again. 9/10 of a rain wasn't enough to last for very long, so we're going to go up there and look, and we'll see what things look like, but I'm probably going to start the irrigation back up. So then we'll spray our manganese, then we'll get this combine done, and then we'll see. 10 acres won't take very long, so we'll have some time in the afternoon and start shifting our focus a little bit onto some different projects, I guess. Okay guys, that's it for today. I'm going home. Well, I'm going to move that header cart, and then I'm going home. So thanks for watching. Oh geez, what happened here? Ugh. If you have any questions or comments, leave them down below, and I'll be sure and answer them. Give me a thumbs up if you would, and if you haven't subscribed, please do that. You did not make it to 10,000 by the time we finished wheat harvest, which was the goal I set when we finished side dressing. But you did pretty good. We're close. We're like 350 people away from 10,000 subscribers. So let's get there anyway, and we'll figure out what's going on next on the farm here. So have a great night, everybody. See you tomorrow.